Obi-Wan Kenobi without a doubt knew that Anakin and Padme had entered into a relationship that was forbidden for any Jedi. He had done so by observing Anakin's behavior. His protectiveness and emotional attachment to Padme often went beyond what was expected of any Jedi. Obi-Wan noticed these uncharacteristic behaviors such as Anakin's distress when Padme was in danger, and his frequent visits to her as the Clone Wars began. He had shared a deep bond with Anakin as his mentor and friend. This connection gave him insight into Anakin's turmoil and feelings about Padme. He was trained to sense emotions, and Anakin's attachment was not well hidden at all. But despite all of this, despite knowing about the relationship, Kenobi did not take any action. Out of compassion for Anakin and Padme, as well as a hope that Anakin would eventually overcome this attachment, grow beyond it, and truly embrace his role as the Chosen One. However, the relationship and its secrecy played a critical role in Anakin's eventual fall and embrace of the dark side. The signs were there. Obi-Wan Kenobi should have said something, and yet he decided not to. Even as a member of the Jedi High Council. As a member of the High Council, he kept one of the darkest secrets from them, that Anakin had a secret attachment, one that was motivating him to do things that no Jedi should. And Kenobi refused to divulge this to even Yoda. So why was this? Why did Obi-Wan keep Anakin's dark secret? And why did this prove to be a massive mistake? This is extremely important in the lore because it shows Obi-Wan Kenobi actively choosing Anakin over the High Council, showing that despite what he would later be accused of, Obi-Wan was loyal to Anakin. Obi-Wan had a deep bond with the boy, not only just as his mentor, but as a close friend. He understood the boy's struggles with attachment and wanted to protect him from severe consequences. Reporting this relationship to the High Council would have put Anakin in conflict directly with Yoda and the rest of the members, potentially leading to Anakin's expulsion from the Jedi Order, which was Obi-Wan Kenobi's greatest fear. It was his master's dying wish that the boy be trained as a Jedi, and Obi-Wan would do almost anything to avoid this, although in the end, he would leave it up to Anakin. He also had great belief though in Anakin's raw potential. He believed that Anakin as the Chosen One had a unique destiny and could overcome any personal challenge in the end. Kenobi may have hoped that Anakin would either come to terms with his feelings or resolve the situation without his intervention. Obi-Wan, beyond anybody else, believed in the boy. But it goes even deeper than this. Obi-Wan had formed his own attachments, though he could control them. An attachment to Anakin, but also one to Padme. He had a great deal of respect and affection for Padme. Revealing the relationship would do unspeakable damage to Padme's reputation, as well as her stance as a senator. Obi-Wan believed that the fallout would be overly political and unnecessary and cruel. And as a Jedi, Obi-Wan also believed he was adhering to the Jedi Code by not ratting on Anakin. While it is true the Jedi are forbidden from forming any meaningful attachment, they are encouraged to practice compassion. Obi-Wan's silence stemmed from his own interpretation of the Jedi Code, prioritizing compassion and understanding over strict adherence to the rules. And that, my friends, is why Obi-Wan Kenobi was such a phenomenal Jedi. He adhered strictly to the Force and the Jedi Code, at least at the times in his life when it was most important. While it was true he was not as efficient at doing this as Qui-Gon Jinn had been, Obi-Wan Kenobi had learned, and he was very much like Qui-Gon Jinn, meaning that he was not very much like the Jedi of the time, but of a bygone era. An era where the Jedi listened strictly to the Force, believed in compassion and restraint over politics and rules. Kenobi is truly the apprentice of Qui-Gon Jinn. Another major reason he didn't reveal the relationship, however, was by the time Kenobi confirmed, the Jedi Order had entered into an era of great strain. The Clone Wars were now ongoing, and suspicions of a Sith conspiracy within the Republic were also growing. Adding the revelation of Anakin's secret marriage would distract from the immediate concern. And Kenobi believed that winning the Clone Wars was far more important than any relationship that Anakin had at the time. Obi-Wan's decision not to inform the Council was driven by his hope that Anakin would resolve his own internal conflict. Unfortunately though, this would contribute to Anakin's eventual fall to the dark side. His relationship with Padme created a powerful conflict between his personal desire and that of the Jedi Code. Anakin developed a fear of loss, inciting recurring visions. He experienced prophetic visions of Padme dying in childbirth, mirroring the earlier trauma of losing his mother, and reigniting his deep fear of losing all that he loved. He was also manipulated by Palpatine. Sidious exploited Anakin's fear, promising him the power to prevent this death through the dark side, and Anakin's desperation made him susceptible. It also was conflicting directly with the Jedi Council and the Code, one of Anakin's deep fears, another reason why Obi-Wan refused to reveal it. The Jedi Code forbade attachment, and as it led to fear, anger, selfishness, emotions that fueled the darkness. Anakin's marriage to Padme was a violation of this principle, and only added more to his isolated feelings from his Jedi peers. He had also developed a deep mistrust of the High Council. He knew the Council didn't understand him, and his frustration grew when they denied him the rank of Jedi Master, with his relationship only deepening his feelings of alienation. Through Padme, Anakin also worked on ends justify the means. By allying himself with Palpatine and betraying the Jedi Order, his fear of losing her blinded him to all of the consequences of the choices he was making at the time. And although he would come to grips with them later as Vader, this was Anakin's first step. And finally, Windu's death. Anakin's attachment to Padme directly influenced his critical decision to intervene during Windu's confrontation with Sidious. Believing that Palpatine was the only hope to save Padme, Anakin attacked Windu, sealing his fall to the dark side. The tragic irony of it all is despite all of his efforts to save his wife, Anakin's turn to the dark side was the very cause of her death. His actions to prevent the prophecy ultimately fulfilled it, leading to immense guilt and solidifying his transformation into the dragon that Anakin was going to burn. Anakin's fall begins with his choice to betray the Jedi, driven by fear and desperation to save his wife from the death that he foresaw. While he strikes down Windu in allegiance to Palpatine, he destroys the ideals that he once upheld. In that moment, the compassionate, brave Jedi is now consumed by fear, anger, and self-loathing. His new title, Darth Vader, is bestowed upon him not as a reward, but as a mark of his submission to the Sith. Anakin dies not in a literal sense, but spiritually and emotionally. He abandons the light for the dark side. The fiery duel with Kenobi on Mustafar physically ravages him, symbolizing the destruction of everything that he once was. As his body is consumed by flames, so too are his dreams, his morality, and his humanity. Vader is born of pain and loss, where he rises and encased in a suit of armor, breathing through the ominous respirator. He embodies his new existence. He is no longer Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi who dreamed of bringing balance to the Force. He is now a broken man, enslaved to the will of another, shackled to his guilt, rage, and his grief. When Vader learns of Padme's death, caused indirectly by his own actions, his anguish is unparalleled. As he screams no, this reverberates not only a cry of sorrow, but the final echo of Anakin Skywalker, now utterly buried beneath Lord Vader's relentless darkness. The transformation is the culmination of Palpatine's manipulation and a cautionary tale about the destructive power of fear and attachment. Vader is born from the ashes of Anakin's shattered ideals, a symbol of how even the most heroic figures can be consumed by darkness within. And that, my friends, is the end of today's Holocron. May the Force guide you always in your journey ahead. As you leave the archives today, know that the knowledge here remains ever at your service, a beacon of wisdom for all Jedi. May your steps be steady, your path illuminated, and your purpose unwavering. Safe travels, and may the Force be with you.